Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21, where we talk hot topics, trending topics, what's going on in the news and around the world. We're just going to do some hot topics, maybe rapid topics. We're going to get into what are Hillary and Bill saying. We're just going to do some quick clips on what they've been reporting. So come on in, like the video. I'm going to go ahead and do my disclaimer. But thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hitting the like button helps push us into the algorithm. Hitting the subscribe button helps us get 50K by this month. We're trying to get to 50K. So please hit the subscribe button as you come in. All comments are allegedly. Let me go ahead and do my disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for being here, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip, and then I'll finish doing what I got to do on this side.
Try to get money from Jeffrey Epstein when there was an intimate event.
That's the question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're going to
This was what I spent my time doing.
I'm a survivor trying to look out for other survivors trying to.
And I was taking care of the people who lost 3,000 lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I have
about
met with
Howard
Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
but
not.
Howard Lutnick was.
If you have an email with me asking Jeffrey Epstein for money,
I have an email from Howard Lutnick sending it to Jeffrey Epstein and his people to raise money for you
know about
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices at Chandler Fitzgerald. You're going to sit here and obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey Epstein when there was an intimate event in an email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him to come to your intimate event at Chandler Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm not going to public. You want to yell at me, that's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for I'm doing the job that you would not do and refuse to do a second. Thank you, and I yield back to you.
No, I'm going to finish answering the question, which I have a right to do. I am very sympathetic to your personal situation. I have read about it. I have seen you testify or speak on the floor about it. And I very much sympathize with not only what you went through, but appreciate your effort to stand up for survivors. I was a senator representing the people who were murdered on 9/11. Nobody lost more people than Howard Lutnick. You can say whatever you want. You can call him and have him appear before the committee. But I knew him as the man who lost the employees that he knew intimately, including his brother. And that's the question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're going to
This was what I spent my time doing.
I'm a survivor trying to look out for other survivors
and I was taking care of the people who lost 3,000.
Your husband flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane 17 to 26 times, correct?
He made several trips with different legs on the trip, as I recall.
But he flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane 17 to 26 times?
Mm-hmm.
Were you aware that Secret Service was dropped on some of those flights?
That is not my understanding.
By this standard of behavior, multiple credible accusers, including Juanita Broderick, who alleged rape against your husband. Your husband was disbarred in Arkansas, lost his law license before the Supreme Court, flew on Epstein's plane dozens of times, visited Epstein's island.
That is not true. That is absolutely untrue.
Well, there's documentation in the DOJ files. I'm not sure you're aware, your attorneys have told you, but Jeffrey Epstein told one of the victims to lie to investigators, to lie that Bill Clinton was ever on Epstein Island. I can provide that document to you.
We would like that document, please.
Yeah, counsel, because actually the files say just the opposite. Epstein himself denied he was.
These are FBI notes from an interview with a victim, and I can get you the victim number and the case number and the files.
What was your understanding of what Mr. Epstein did for work?
I knew nothing about him. He was there as an invited guest by the White House Historical Association. That's my best recollection.
And no one else informed you of what Mr. Epstein did for work?
No, but we had hundreds and thousands of people who came to the White House. I was not informed of what people did or didn't do for work, especially someone that I never even had a conversation with.
Do you know who invited Mr. Epstein to the White House?
I can only tell you what I know, which is that he apparently was a guest invited by the White House Historical Association to attend a dinner to thank people who gave money to the White House Historical Association for the upkeep and maintenance of the White House.
It's been widely reported, and we, I think, discussed in the previous hour, that in July of 2010, Ms. Maxwell attended your daughter's wedding in Rhinebeck, New York. Do you have any recollection of Ms. Maxwell's attendance at the wedding?
I have no specific recollection. Obviously, there's a picture of her being at the wedding as my husband walks my daughter down the aisle. She was there as a guest of Ted Waite, someone we had known for 30 years, I believe, who was a strong supporter of my husband and became a friend. And there were more than 500 people at the wedding. So other than that picture of her at the wedding, I have no recollection of talking with her. I was pretty focused on my daughter.
Your husband flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane 17 to 26 times, correct?
He made several trips with different legs on the trip, as I recall.
But he flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane
Yes, he
17 to
did.
26 times?
Mhm.
Were you aware that Secret Service was dropped on some of those flights?
That is not my understanding.
By this standard of behavior, multiple credible accusers, including Juanita Broderick, who alleged rape against your husband was disbarred in Arkansas, lost his law license before the Supreme Court, flew on Epstein's plane dozens of times, visited Epstein's island.
That is not true. That is absolutely untrue.
Well, there's documentation in the DOJ files. I'm not sure you're aware, your attorneys have told you, but Jeffrey Epstein told one of the victims to lie to investigators, to lie that Bill Clinton was ever on Epstein Island. I can provide that document to you.
We would like that document, please.
Yeah,
Okay.
counsel, because actually the files say just the opposite. Epstein himself denied he was.
These are FBI notes from an interview with a victim, and I can get you the victim number and the case number and the files.
What was your understanding of what Mr. Epstein did for work?
I knew nothing about him. He was there as an invited guest by the White House Historical Association. That's my best recollection.
And no one else informed you of what Mr. Epstein did for work?
No, but we had hundreds and thousands of people who came to the White House. I was not informed of what people did or didn't do for work, especially someone that I never even had a conversation with.
Do you know who invited Mr. Epstein to the White House?
I can only tell you what I know, which is that he apparently was a guest invited by the White House Historical Association to attend a dinner to thank people who gave money to the White House Historical Association for the upkeep and maintenance of the White House.
It's been widely reported, and we, I think, discussed in the previous hour, that in July of 2010, Ms. Maxwell attended your daughter's wedding in Rhinebeck, New York. Do you have any recollection of Ms. Maxwell's attendance at the wedding?
I have no specific recollection. Obviously, there's a picture of her being at the wedding as my husband walks my daughter down the aisle. She was there as a guest of Ted Waite, someone we had known for years, I believe, who was a strong supporter of my husband and became a friend. And there were more than 500 people at the wedding. So other than that picture of her at the wedding, I have no recollection of talking with her. I was pretty focused on my daughter. Your husband flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane 17 to 20 times, correct?
Next
He
clip.
made several trips.
We're gonna show this. Hold on one second. Yesterday it was mentioned that Savannah and the sister went to the house to pay respects to the mother. People had put up flowers in front of the home. We're generally going to show that because when I go to the next screen, I might lose this. I wanted to show y'all that Savannah, the sister, and the sister's husband was at the home placing flowers. We're going to get to Bill in a second, but I didn't want to lose this clip. So prayers to the family. Nancy still has not been found. Prayers to Nancy for a safe return to her family. I wanted to cover that. A lot of the reporters are now not in front of Nancy Holmes. So I felt that this was the time that they could go to pay their respects and put flowers out, because weeks prior there was so many reporters in front of the home. Then they restricted reporters from parking in front of the home. So then reporters were getting dropped off their equipment, and then they would do their reporting. So this was probably, I think it was only News Nation that was out there. The Guthrie family was only out there for a little while. I'd say 2, 3, maybe 4 minutes. It was less than 5 minutes. Other reporters that I was watching were like, oh my goodness, they're at the house, and they tried to get to the house and they were already gone. So I pray they find her. Before I even came live, there was reporters out searching land. So let's get to Bill. I did want to show that because I'm not certain. We'll get to her later. Let me save that. Hold on one second. Like the videos, you guys come in. I'm covering it up because there's certain things I can't show or share on YouTube. So I'm covering it up for a second while I save some of this stuff. But like the videos, you guys come in. Let me go ahead and get to Bill. Thanks for being here. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. Okay, let's get to Bill and what he had to say. Like the videos, you guys come in.
And
when did it end?
when did your relationship with Mr. Epstein end?
When did it end? Well, I believe I took my last flight in 2003. Now, later I became aware of some involvement he had in the first Clinton Global Initiative, but it was much later. I thought Mr. Epstein was an interesting man, but I didn't think he was really interested in what I was doing. That is, he asked all these questions. He did ask about economics and politics, as he said he would. And he never asked me anything untoward. It's just that I thought I had done what I promised to do, and he had done what he promised to do. And I've always, over the years, with these donors, tried not to overstay my welcome. I thought that we'd done enough, and then it's time to start working with other people.
When did your relationship with Mr. Epstein end?
When did it end?
When did it end? Well, I believe I took my last flight in 2003.
2003.
Now, later I became aware of some involvement he had in the first Clinton Global Initiative, but it was much later. I thought Mr. Epstein was an interesting man, but I didn't think he was really interested in what I was doing.
Interesting man,
he asked
how?
all these questions. He did ask about economics and politics.
You thought he was an interesting man, how? I'm surprised they didn't say go more into detail. You felt he was interesting in what way? What was he doing that some of your other friends weren't doing? What was he involved in that your other friends weren't involved in? What kind of conversations was he having with you that made you feel like he was an interesting man?
He was really interested in what I was doing. That is, he asked all these questions. He did ask about economics and politics, as he said he would. And he never asked me anything untoward. It's just that I thought I had done what I promised to do.
Good morning.
And he had done what he promised to do. And I've always, over the years, with these donors, tried not to overstay my welcome. I thought that we'd done enough, and then it's time to start working with other people.
When did your relationship with Mr. Epstein end?
Next clip. I don't know if I want to show that. Hold on. Like the videos y'all come in. Like the videos y'all come in. I got to be cautious of what I show. It's pertaining to Bill, but yeah.
Had contact with an individual by the name of Shantae Davies.
I believe Shantae that's a distinctive name, so I think that was the name of one of his flight attendants.
Okay. She's been described on being on a 2002 Africa trip and providing massages. Was she or any other young female on that trip underage at that time?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you ever receive a massage or have physical contact from her or anyone else on that trip?
You've seen the pictures. There was one time when I was sitting up and I got a back rub, a neck rub.
Okay.
And I think Shantae did it, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Have you ever had contact with an individual by the name of Shantae Davies?
I believe Shantae that's a distinctive name, so I think that was the name of one of his flight attendants.
Okay. She's been described on being on a 2002 Africa trip and providing massages. Was she or any other young female on that trip underage at that time?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Did you ever receive a massage or have physical contact from her or anyone else?
Good morning, good morning.
You've seen the pictures. There was one time when I was sitting up and I got a back rub, a neck rub.
Okay.
And I think Shantae did it.
Okay. Have you ever had contact?
Now, they had said that Bill tried to answer every question. He didn't leave any question unanswered.
Do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself?
Speculate on how Mr. Epstein died?
I am asking what the president thinks of.
So you're asking his opinion?
Mr. President, was your friend suicidal?
Are you classifying him as a friend who he has testified that he was friendly?
He has called him a friend in a letter.
He said he was friendly, but not. You've asked for his testimony.
Mr. President, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein was suicidal?
Do you know?
Was he ever suicidal?
I don't know. I only know what the medical finding was. I think maybe he finally got caught. And I don't know.
He was in jail.
I've accepted it in my own mind. I don't know what happened.
Mr. President, what did you accept? That he killed himself or that he did not?
That he did, but I don't know.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Neither
Mr.
do you.
President.
We don't. None of us know.
I'd like to ask you personally and directly, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed?
Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Looks like she grabbed the picture from him, didn't it? Why would she grab it from him?
Okay.
Mr. President, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's.
You had said his lawyers were grabbing papers from him the whole time. Oh, wow. Really? I didn't know that. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling me. I didn't know that because I was like, why is she grabbing stuff from him? Let him look. Let's continue. Yeah.
Mr. President, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour. So I just want to.
It's almost like the less he looks, real talk. Let's just generally talk. The less he looks, that's why she's doing it. The less say, I didn't see it. I don't know about it. You're telling me something new I don't recall. So that's why they're doing it. They don't want him to look through the whole document.
5 minutes remaining in the majority's.
Sad but true.
Okay.
See, she's grabbing
Mr.
again.
President, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour. So I just want to ask you some questions related to the crimes committed by Mr. Epstein and Ms. Maxwell.
Joint campaign. Okay.
Okay, so let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
out for other survivors trying to.
And I was taking care of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000 lives
And now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I
about
have met
Howard
with Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. I'm a
I
survivor
spent-
trying to look out for other survivors trying to.
And I was taking care of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000 lives
And now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I have
about
met
Howard
with Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. I'm a
I
survivor
spent-
trying to look out for other survivors trying to.
And I was taking care of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000.
So when they had said she was yelling, now I believe it.
I have
about
met with
Howard
Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did not.
You know Howard Lutnick.
I know Howard Lutnick because when I was senator on 9/11, the firm he headed, Cantor Fitzgerald, suffered the greatest loss of life. As I recall, something like
There's about 207 in the building. Please hit the subscribe button, you guys. We're trying to hit 50K by this month. Please hit the subscribe button. There's been 3,000 people in here so far. Please hit subscribe and thank you. Continue to get the likes up, you guys. The likes should match the views. We should be well over 100 likes. Please double tap the screen, or you'll find the like button with the 3 dots above, or you'll find the like button below the video. Please double tap the screen to hit the likes, and thank you.
You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
But
not
Howard,
know what
and
she
how do
was
you know
doing.
Howard Lutnick?
I know Howard Lutnick because when I was senator on 9/11, the
Thank
firm
you.
he headed, Cantor Fitzgerald, suffered the greatest loss of life. As I recall, something like 650 of his employees were murdered by terrorists that day. Howard Lutnick missed being a victim because he was delayed dropping his child off to kindergarten. You asked the question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're gonna yell
This
at
was
me?
what I spent
You're
my
going to yell at
time
me.
doing.
I'm a
I
survivor
spent
trying to look out for other survivors trying to.
and I was taking care of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000 lives
And now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I have
about
met with
Howard
Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
But
not.
Howard Lutnick was.
If you have an email with me asking Jeffrey
I
Epstein
have
for
an
money,
email from Howard Lutnick sending it to Jeffrey Epstein and his people to raise money for
I don't
you
know about-
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're
well,
going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would let me finish.
obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I didn't.
Epstein
I
when there was an
didn't.
intimate event in an email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him to come to your intimate event at Cantor Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm not going to public. You want to yell at me, that's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for
it's
survivors.
very-
I'm doing
look-
the job that you would not do.
but
Wow.
that's why I know Howard Lutnick. I went to the
Y'all notice the difference? She's really uptight and upset. Bill is kind of calm. Y'all notice the difference? Bill's calmer. And he was on the plane. He said, let me see it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's getting older.
Mr. President, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour, so I just want to ask you some questions related to the crimes committed by Mr. Epstein and Ms. Maxwell.
Joint campaign, okay.
Like the video. So that might have been the pictures that they were looking at. Like the video, fair use reaction clip. And then remember how Bill Gates spoke.
You know, I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, you know, it's factually true that I was only at dinners. You know, I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, you know, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior. Yeah, I met Jeffrey in 2011. The focus was always, he knew a lot of very rich people, and he was saying he could get them to give money to global health. You know, in retrospect, that was a dead end, and I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him.
People that do wrong want to be next to, by, and high profile people. They fell for it. They fell for his events. They fell for his whatever he had going on. People, they fell for it because it was ways for alleged. I can't confirm or deny what happened in those rooms or those times. This was a way for alleged men to cheat on their spouses. And women alleged to cheat on their spouses, because there's women that's named in there too. These men found a way to cheat on their spouses with this dude. Alleged, can't confirm or deny I wasn't there, but it seems as if they was buddies with this guy. And then, like we said, birds of a feather flock together. Don't think, whenever you hang out with people, they do certain stuff. They do certain stuff. They make certain comments, and certain people will give you an ick. Certain people will give you an ick. What do you mean? Why is this young person, you're not asking questions? And in some of these people's minds, let's go back. In some of these people's minds, none of y'all wanted to protect the children from what this guy was allegedly doing. I can't confirm or deny if these men or women in politics or business saw younger children. I can't confirm or deny, but none of y'all wanted to have an escape for those children. When you really think about it, that's really sick. When you think about it, none of y'all wanted to protect these younger children. Doing the Epstein stuff is not easy, y'all, because I see pictures of girls in blindfolds. So they were trying to cover their faces so these men could not be seen. Remember, there's a alleged mask on the wall. So some of these people that probably didn't even know who these people were. So you're okay with being around a guy that had masks in his office, a dentist chair? What? What are we really talking about? These people noticed certain things and did nothing for years.
To give money to Global Health.
Years.
You know, in retrospect, that was a dead end, and I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him. You know, it's factually true that I was only at dinners. You know, I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, you know, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior. Yeah, I met Jeffrey in 2011. The focus was always, he knew a lot of very rich people, and he was saying he could get them to give money to Global Health. You know, in retrospect, that was a dead end, and I was foolish.
Facts. It is so, you're right. It is so important to have good discernment. Good discernment. Men talk. Women talk. You know who you should be around, not be around. You know who not to hang out with.
To give money to Global Health. You know, in retrospect, that was a dead end, and I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him. You know, it's factually true that
it's hard for me to understand how some of these people didn't protect younger children.
Former President Bill Clinton and former deposition videos of former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, they have just been released. The Clintons testified under oath in front of a House Oversight Committee last week about their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Both of them denied any wrongdoing. We right now have teams combing through more than 8 hours of footage. We're going to bring you the latest both on air and on abcnews.com. Deposition videos of former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary
8 hours of footage. We're going to go ahead and get to the news in regards to Bill and Hillary. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to show. It's sad. So sad. I'm going to screenshot that. I'm going to keep y'all right there. Let's go, Bill and Hillary. Like the videos, y'all come in. Thanks for being here. That's my biggest concern. Is that this guy got away with it for so long. Nobody did nothing. The models, the actresses, you know, where did they get these people from? And we have a handful, less than what, 30 people maybe? Where's the rest of the people? Did some of them still make it? Or some of them missing? Because did y'all catch my video when we talked about girls in regards to the cabinets? Did y'all catch that? Where if there was a girl, and I'm gonna just give you guys an example. If there was a girl that was missing, and we call it Tan Tan, there would be a cabinet called Tan Tan, and then there would be a price in regards to that cabinet. Did y'all know that? We did a video on that. And if there was a girl missing and her name was White, there was a cabinet and a price on that cabinet from Wayfair. Did y'all catch that video when we did it? These people are sick. And these people were friends with this man. Men talk, women talk. And these celebrities are doing a lot of stuff to distract. Let's go. So concerning.
You have a right to ask those questions.
Let me see. Yeah, I've seen your video. I showed it. And I showed it in a short. I showed it on my show. That's concerning. Where are those missing girls? Where are those missing people? So crazy and sad. This man was sick. And then to put him in jail, give him a sweetheart deal where he can leave the jail at a certain time. He should have been stuck in the jail. He should have been in a mental facility. Real talk. Epstein should have been in a mental facility. And I wonder who gave him that sweetheart deal. Which court, which judge? And I wonder, I'm sure people spoke up about that. And even with Maxwell, she's been moved to a lesser, she's been moved to a different jail or prison. What is going on? Why aren't people trying to protect the children? And why aren't people talking about the children that were missing around that time in association with those cabinets?
So I'm glad to be here, and I understand what the oath is. I have to be honest with you.
This is Bill.
I'll be 80 years old if I live to the next birthday. I don't remember everything that happened 24 years ago, but I do remember some things, and I will tell you what I remember as best I can.
She's been
I'm a
described as being on a 2002 Africa trip and providing massages. Was she or any other young female on that trip underage at that time?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you ever receive a massage or have physical contact from her or anyone else on that trip?
You've seen the pictures. There was one time when I was sitting up and I got a back rub, the neck rub.
Okay.
And I think Shantae did it, but I'm not sure. I wish Shantae had told me. I liked her. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think it was anything unusual. I can't tell you.
He wished she would have told him he liked her. You liked her how, sir? What did you know about her character? What did y'all talk about? Let's continue.
How many airplanes I've been on? Where rich people asked me to go and they had someone offering. All these boats that you go on, all that, they all do that.
Did you ever visit Epstein's Little St. James Island?
No.
We have Virginia Guthrie, who has testified seeing you on the island with two young girls.
Oh my goodness.
Did this occur at all? Okay. Why do you think she would have made that claim?
Objection, speculation. You can't possibly.
Have you ever met her, any other Epstein associated underage girl?
Not to my knowledge.
In Epstein's 2016 deposition unsealed in the DOJ files, he refused to answer if you were accompanied by two young women who were approximately 18 years old on the island. Were any such women potentially underage with you? I know you've stated that you were not there, but did you have any interaction with the said
Objection to the foundation of the question. He's already stated he was not on the island. You're now asking about a claim of the Fifth Amendment by Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay. Is it possible, and in your opinion, that you and or your wife were targeted as a means of an intelligence gathering operation?
Object to the
by
form of the
Jeffrey
question.
Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell?
Object to the form of the question. No objection to if he knows that they were targeted. I believe that's what she asked.
No, she said, is it possible? So she's asking him to speculate instead of asking him, does he know?
Do you know if you were targeted at any point?
I don't, but I don't. I'd sort of be surprised, but I'm not. I don't know.
Mr. President, before we left off, I asked you to characterize your relationship
with Mr. Epstein. I asked you if you considered him to be a friend. You said you did not. Is that right?
I said we were friendly, we had a cordial relations, but I didn't know him well enough because we had almost no contact beyond what I described. At this time, I'd like to introduce what will be marked as Majority Exhibit 13. And this is base marked House Oversight 000126. And while it's being passed out, this is a letter from a book of letters, which is his 50th birthday. Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday. Questions? Mr. President, do you recognize this letter? And for the record, does this appear to be your handwriting and signature? It is. And why did you write this letter? Why did I? Because I was requested to contribute a nice letter for his birthday book. And who asked you to write the letter? No, I don't remember. Would Miss Maxwell have asked you? No, I think someone on my staff asked me.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. We're probably looking at a whole tear off, maybe even new gutters.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Please hit the subscribe button, you guys. We're trying to hit 50K by this month. It is free to hit the like. It is free to hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please hit the like. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Now, there's a word that our committee has not been able to identify, and in our defense, the Wall Street Journal has not been able to identify.
Imagine being on his staff.
Can you please read the letter for the record? Yes. It's reassuring, isn't it, to have lasted so long across all the years of learning and knowing, adventures and errors, and still to have your childlike curiosity, the drive to make a difference, and the solace of friends. Not a bad letter. And because we haven't been able to identify that word until now, what did you?
Which word was it that you could not?
Solace? You couldn't? No, errors. Errors. What do I mean? Anybody who's lived 50 years and done anything has made mistakes as well as progress and done things. But for the record, you weren't referring to errors in judgment that Mr. Epstein had related to his inappropriate activities involving you? Absolutely not. I knew nothing about that. We have, as in the files that were released, there were several photos, including you, and we have an exhibit here. That's just one of the photos. And Exhibit K, Minority Exhibit K. Yep. And we'll have that passed around. And what we're trying to get at is some context for the public on whether you remember this photo and any details you may be able to provide us about it. So do you recall the details of this photo, or recall the photo being taken? No, I don't think I ever knew the photo was taken. Okay, and for those who can't see it, it's a photo of you in a hot tub. There's a person next to you here. Do you remember where it was taken? Where was it taken? I'm almost sure that this taken, I think there's an adjacent photograph that you probably have. And if people saw it, they would feel that someone was trying to con them showing this picture. But anyway, this picture was taken in Brunei. And we flew one night on the trip to Asia, the last very long leg. You said we, who is that including? Well, my whole team that was working on the AIDS issue, and Mr. Epstein was there, and Ms. Maxwell. But anyway, we got to the end of the flight was Brunei. It's a tiny place, but a very wealthy one in the south of Brunei. Was a man that I had gotten to know well in my 8 years as president. And his first involvement with international matters is basically to join the Asian Pacific. Hold on. Let me see if I can find a clip that's not so, his voice has gotten more raspy because he's older. So hold on one second. Like the video as y'all come in.
Like the videos, y'all come in.
There are not deep fakes that are representing what is happening here when they actually have not.
Yeah, let me say, yesterday, that was an unfortunate situation. We had probably two things that shouldn't have happened. The release of the photo as well as a Democrat member communicating with the New York Times. So I will again remind everyone to refrain from sending pictures or texting with media outlets outside. Melvin is our videographer, and he's doing this today as well as producing the video, so we'll get them out hopefully as soon as possible, hopefully within the next 24 hours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that. Nothing new.
Mr. President, do you wish to provide an opening statement?
I do. It's brief. First of all, good morning and welcome to all of you to our hometown. I appreciate you coming here. I'm here today basically for two reasons. First of all, I love my country and the Constitution, and I believe America was built on the idea that no one is above the law, especially presidents, and that we should all live by the same set of rules shaped by the Constitution. Democracy requires every person to play their part, and I hope that by being here today, we can bring ourselves a little further break and back to being a country where we can disagree civilly and search for the truth and justice, and that outweighs the partisan urge for spectacle and point scoring. I will do my part, and I hope you'll do yours. The second reason I'm here is that the girls and women whose lives Jeffrey Epstein destroyed deserve not just justice, but healing. I'm waiting too long for both. From my brief acquaintance with Jeffrey Epstein, though it ended years before his crimes came to light, and though I never witnessed during our limited interactions any indication of what was going on, I'm here to offer what little I know so I can do my part to prevent something like this from happening again. I have to just say one personal thing. Since Hillary came in yesterday, she had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Nothing. There's a picture of us both shaking hands with him in a photo line in 1993 at a fundraiser for the White House Historical Association. I don't know how it is under President Trump, but when I was there, it was about the most non-political operation you can imagine. There were people who love the White House, who were interested in it, would give a little money every year to do things that needed doing around the house. And nothing nearly as extravagant as the ballroom or any of that, just things that had to be done. And neither she nor I remember shaking his hand all those years ago. So I don't think that was right. On the other hand, I do think you should be talking to me. I think you should have called me. I did take those plane trips with him, and you have a right to ask those questions.
Okay, Bill.
So I'm glad to be here, and I understand what the oath is. I have to be honest with you. You know, I'll be 80 years old if I live to the next birthday. I don't remember everything that happened 24 years ago, but I do remember some things, and I will tell you what I remember as best I can. We, each of us, are the victims, nothing less than the truth and accuracy. We owe that to the American people. And I actually hope that you will be able to come up with some suggestions that will reduce human trafficking and especially focus on underage girls. I hope you'll be able to do that. I know that Hillary talked a little yesterday about what the State Department does and what she pushed on human trafficking and girls. When she was Secretary of State, we had to deal with it. And in my foundation, I saw it in Nigeria when Boko Haram was rampaging through the north of Nigeria. And we were working there trying to stop deaths from diarrhea for young children. And it was interesting. These guys were cold and calculated. They said, oh, you don't have to leave because the kids you're helping are younger than the ones we want. They have to be about 9 before they're worth anything to us. So this is really important. And I will do what I can to make whatever contribution I can. Thank you.
Thank you. The time reads 11:28, and the majority's time will begin now. Mr. President, thank you for agreeing to testify today and for your years of service to our country. I want to start from the beginning. When did you first meet Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, I will try in this testimony, I will point it out when I'm aware there's a picture or something that predates it. There's a picture that shows him shaking hands in the White House Historical Association reception. That was in 1993, but I'm not aware of that. I first remember meeting him when I got on his airplane to take the first trip with my foundation in, I think, 2002, whenever it was.
And to be clear, do you have any reason to believe that you may have met Mr. Epstein prior to becoming president of the United States?
Before I became president, no.
And you mentioned that your first memory of interacting with Mr. Epstein was on your first trip. Which trip specifically?
I'm not sure which one it was. Which one was the first? I took all or part of 4 or 5 trips to Asia and Africa and one to Northern Europe on Mr. Epstein's airplane. And once when I was in Florida, I was offered a ride back to New York, but I wasn't there having an end. It was just coincidental that he was there. And I think that was fairly early in the process, but I don't remember exactly. I just know that I did. I took one flight back from Florida to New York, and all are part of several other, I think 4 or 5 trips to Africa, Asia, and one to Northern Europe.
And I want to make sure the record is clear. Is it your testimony today that you have no independent recollection whatsoever of the circumstances of when you first met Mr. Epstein?
Objection, asked and answered.
Yes, I do have a recollection of when I remember meeting him before this trip. I mean, on this trip when I took his plane.
Mr. President, we're going to discuss more specifics later, but for the record, can you briefly describe the nature and extent of your relationship with Mr. Epstein?
Well, sometime after I left the White House, either in late 2001 or early-ish in 2002, I received a call from Larry Summers, who had been on my economic team and was later Secretary of Treasury, and was then president of Harvard. And he said that he was calling because a man named Jeffrey Epstein, who had made a substantial commitment of several $1 million, I think it was 10, but whatever it was, to brain research. And that he was a information hungry person, and he wanted to spend some time talking to me about economics and politics. And he said, he's got this massive airplane, and he said he would take you, your staff, your Secret Service detail, anybody else you wanted to bring on the trips that he knew I was planning to set up a global network to provide life-saving AIDS medicine to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. And I should back up and say, when I left office, we had done all the preliminary work to set up the global fund on HTV and malaria, but it was not yet funded. So, and there were other instruments and institutions that were later funded, including President Bush's PEPFAR program. It had not yet been funded. There were only 200,000 people in the entire developing world who had AIDS medicine, most of them in Brazil, which had a big drug operation on its own, and in Thailand, which also had its own drug population. In Africa, there were like 30,000 people or something, just next to no people. And they were dying like flies. And I thought we had found a way to drastically drive the price down. And that if we could drive the price down, we could, and empower people to administer the medicine right, we could save a lot of lives. And I was obsessed with it. And I was being helped by a man named Ira Magaziner, who had helped us in the White House and whom I had known since we lived as Harvard scholars together in the 1960s. So anyway, that's why when Larry Summers said this, I thought, well, this would be great. And so we followed up and took the troops.
Mr. President, when did your relationship with Mr. Epstein end?
When did it end? Well, I believe I took my last flight in 2003. Now, later I became aware of some involvement he had in the first Clinton Global Initiative, but it was much later.
Why did your relationship with Mr. Epstein end?
Well, after a year or two, we really picked up a steam with this AIDS program, and a lot of other people whom I knew better and who really cared about the work came forward and offered to help us provide transportation. And I thought Mr. Epstein was an interesting man, but I didn't think he was really interested in what I was doing. But as he asked all these questions, he did ask about economics and politics, as he said he would. And he never asked me anything untoward. It's just that I thought I had done what I promised to do, and he had done what he promised to do. And I've always, over the years, with these donors, tried not to overstay my welcome. I thought that we'd done enough, and then it's time to start working with other people.
When did you first learn of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes?
I think in 2008 when he was prosecuted. There's nothing that I saw when I was around him that made me realize he was trafficking women, and I never.
Let's talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. When did you first meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I believe I first met her with him when she was working with him.
And what did you understand Ms. Maxwell, and what did you understand her relationship to be with Mr. Epstein?
I thought she was sort of his chief of staff or administrator.
And you said that you first met Ms. Maxwell with Mr. Epstein. Is that after you were president?
Yeah, I don't believe I met her when I was president. I could have. I met a lot of people, I don't remember, but I definitely remember meeting her on that first flight.
Can you briefly, for the record, describe the nature and extent of your relationship with Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, it was. It lasted longer and was more extensive than my relationship with Mr. Epstein, because Ghislaine Maxwell started going with a man named Ted Waite, who had made a lot of the first sort of self-designed computers. And he was a big supporter of mine and the foundation. Before he started seeing Glenn, we'd been friends, and he was interested in, particularly in reducing pollution in the oceans. And so when she started going with him, I would see her from time to time.
And when did your relationship with Ms. Maxwell end?
I don't think I've seen her in a decade. I don't know. It's been a long time. I don't know exactly when.
Why did your relationship with Ms. Maxwell end?
Well, at first she moved to Boston. I think she had a relationship with a man there, and I think they may have married. And so she wasn't so much around, and when it became, after 2019, when it became obviously she was involved too, to an extent that I did not know. That was the end of it.
And I want to make sure the record is clear. You mentioned that your relationship with Ms. Maxwell was more extensive than that of Mr. Epstein.
But it lasted longer, yes.
Okay. When do you have any recollection of what year it would have ended?
No, but when she was with Headway, she was when we were kicking off CGI. She was very interested in that, and she participated. But I don't remember, I don't know, it's been 10, 12 years since I saw it. I don't remember when the last time was.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you some baseline questions regarding who you communicated with and about what. If you don't recall specifics, but do recall you communicated with them, you should answer yes, but say you do not recall specifics.
Counsel, could I just ask, if you're going down a list, your question is, did he communicate with the person, yes or no? And you'll come back if he says yes to ask further.
Yes, thank you. And I will finish with the prompt here too. So the question, Mr. President, have you ever communicated with any of the following people regarding Mr. Jeffrey Epstein or Ms. Ghislaine Maxwell? And for now, you can say yes or no, and we will come back to discuss each one.
And this is to the best of his recollection?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
First, Richard Kahn.
Richard who?
Kahn.
T-O-D-D?
K-A-H-N.
I don't know who that is.
Like the video, like the video.
Dyke.
M. Dyke?
Correct.
I don't know who that is.
Sarah Helen.
Like the video, should guys come
I
in.
don't know who that is.
Uma Abedin.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. President, the question is, as I understand it, name the people you communicated to about Epstein and Maxwell.
Oh, obviously I know Huma very well. And I don't remember any specific conversations we ever had about Epstein and Maxwell.
Noam Chomsky.
No. Mr. Chomsky wasn't a big fan of mine. He thought I was too conservative.
Leslie Groff.
Leslie who?
Groff.
I'm sorry, I don't know who that is.
Nadia Marcinkova.
I don't know who that is.
Jean-Luc Brunel.
I don't know who that is, I don't believe.
Alan Dershowitz.
I know him. And I'm not aware that we ever talked about Epstein. Or Maxwell, I don't believe we did.
Reid Hoffman.
I know Reid Hoffman, but he never talked to me about Mr. Epstein or Miss Maxwell.
Karina Shuliak.
I don't believe I know who that is. I don't think I've ever met that person.
Woody Allen.
I do know who he is, but I don't think I ever met him, and I never talked to him about Epstein or Maxwell.
Sandy Berger.
Sandy Berger was my national security advisor, and we were very close personally, but he's been dead for several years. And I don't think I ever talked to him about either one of those people.
Jess Staley.
Jess Staley?
Correct.
No.
Paul Morris.
I don't believe I know him.
LED Rothschild.
Who Rothschild?
LED Rothschild.
LED?
Mm-hmm.
I know Evelyn Rothschild. Is that who it is?
No, and I have other Rothschilds on this list as well.
I'm not sure who LED Rothschild is. I've met a bunch of them when I spoke at the funeral for Evelyn Rothschild. And I had met some of the others, the one couple in France once 20 years ago, but I don't remember him.
Lynn Orser Rothschild.
Yes, I know her, but I don't remember discussing Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell with her.
Glenn Dubin.
I don't believe I know him.
Eva Anderson.
I don't believe I know her.
Casey Wasserman.
I know him, and he was on a trip to Africa with me. But I don't recall ever discussing either Ghislaine Maxwell or Jeffrey Epstein with him.
Ira Magaziner.
Yes, I think I mentioned him earlier. He was the person who basically helped me start the AIDS program, and he ran the Clinton Health Access Initiative for many years. He retired a couple of years ago, a few years ago. but I don't remember ever discussing.
Okay, let me see if there's any other hot topics, trending topics I want to get to. Like the videos, you guys come in. It's being reported that alleged Cardi B is letting Tasha K slide on the $4 million debt. Can't confirm or deny. I don't know. That's the first time I'm hearing that. Can't confirm or deny that. Like the video as you guys come in. Like the videos you guys come in. It's being reported that Mr. Tenderism is no longer at that same location. It's being mentioned that allegedly there's a GoFundMe set up to help him get his own food truck. We're just talking hot topics, trending topics, rapid topics. But I want to get to this one video. It seems as if Ray J's mother is speaking out about his health. I do want to get to that, and I might do a separate video regards to that. But if his mom is speaking out, I think that's pretty huge. So, like I said, Ray J's mother's alleged speaking out about Ray J's health.
They did an angiogram. And the angiogram indicated that he had a serious heart disease. The next day, they did an angiogram. And the angiogram indicated that he had a serious heart disease. The next day.
Next clip.
When blood was pumping 15 to 20%, blood flow was 15 to 20% to his heart. Now, anybody that knows that, they understand that that is a very serious condition. It was so scary when blood was pumping 15.
Next clip.
So scary and serious that every other word that was explained to us was, this is life-threatening. It's like it rings in my ear, life-threatening. It's so scary and serious that every other word that was explained to us was, this is life-threatening. It's like it rings in my ear.
Next clip.
Life-threatening. It's almost like if he made one move or did one thing, it's life-threatening. So they determined that he had cardiomyopathy. It's almost like if he made one move or did one thing, it's life-threatening.
So Ray J's mom is speaking out. We know that he has a lawsuit against the Kardashians. The Kardashian has a defamation lawsuit against Ray J. And then the Ray J turned around and sued them. I can't confirm or deny what Ray J has or what the Kardashians have, or if anybody's looking into the Kardashians. We don't know. We don't know. You know, we're not a federal agency over here. So if Ray J is having these health concerns, we get why he's back into his children's lives, which is a good thing. He needs to be around his children. He has to be careful what he does. He probably can't be around stressful situations. I don't know at this point if they mentioned or not if he's going to have any type of surgery or not. That's the one thing. I think they're doing like evaluations on him, but I haven't heard anybody saying whether he'll have heart surgery or not to prolong his life. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But it's great that his mother is speaking out in regards to, some people say, no, it's not true. We saw him on stage with a heart monitor. We saw that. So can't confirm or deny if he's going to have surgery. Like I said, weeks ago, the Kardashians wanted to trend with Ray J because Ray J was trending, being on stage. And it's like, why now? Why say something now? Well, he might have something to do, alleged, with Kim passing the bar or not. She's been trying to pass. Why is she trying to blame Ray J? Because remember, Kim has blamed others. Kim has blamed Kanye. Kim has blamed ChatGPT. Kim has blamed the psychics. Kim is now trying to blame Ray J. Kim needs to take a good look at herself to see if there's any moral things that she has done and in their eyes. I can't confirm or deny what the guidelines are or what the checklist is for her to be able to pass that. But if she's done things to where she won't be able to pass in regards to different lawsuits against her or different allegations against her or different financial stuffs against her, or if they believe the tape was signed and released by her and Ray J, there's a lot that, she has to take a look at what she's done and what she's doing. The Ray J and Kim thing has gone back and forth for years. Remember how they put him on their show? They wanted Trini to go viral. They were talking about Ray J on their show, and millions watched it. He was on their season. I don't know if it was for Hulu season 1, 2, or 3, or if it was season 1 and 3. But the Kardashians talked about Ray J. And then the Kardashians allegedly told Ray J when they talk about him, it's not that bad. Allegedly, that's the messages between him and Kim. But like I said, a judge or going to have to decide if those messages are valid. We can't. We weren't there. We weren't there seeing the text messages. So whatever Kim and Ray J has going on, that's them. Judge or jury's going to have to decide what's being said is factual. But if he is having health concerns, I'm sure his family wants him to take it easy, not get caught up in drama, and just to take it day by day. He has to be cautious. Remember last week, the young lady he was dating, she spoke out. We covered it a little bit, but she was saying he was just having a moment. He was sad, and she tried to do this, and she ... and she regrets, putting her hands on him, and whether she hit him hard or not. We talked about that, but Ray J has to be cautious and careful at this point. His children need him and want him here. And Ray J loves Trina to go viral. So does the Kardashians. And if he is, and he is having health concerns, he needs to take it easy. So I'm going to play this again because people are just not coming in.
They did an angiogram. And the angiogram indicated that he had a serious heart disease. The next day, they did an angiogram.
Next clip.
When blood was pumping 15 to 20%, blood flow was 15 to 20% to his heart. Now, anybody that knows that, they understand that that is a very serious condition. It was so scary when blood was pumping 15.
Next clip.
So scary and serious that every other word that was explained to us was, this is life-threatening. It's like it rings in my ear, life-threatening. It's so scary and serious that...
Next clip.
It's almost like if he made one move or did one thing, it's life-threatening. So they determined that he had cardiomyopathy. It's almost like if he made one move or did one thing, it's life-threatening. So they determined that he had cardiomyopathy.
So prayers go out to Ray J. A lot's going on. A lot's going on in the world. We talked about Bill, Hillary. We're talking about Ray J. I wanted to show that because when I was on my other phone, I saw that. I'll probably do a short regarding it. I was supposed to do a video regards to Ray J and the Kardashians. I haven't gotten to it yet. Please hit the subscribe button, you guys. I don't know if too many people has hit it today. Please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 50K. There's about 67 people in the building. If even all 67 hit it, that'll be great. If you already hit subscribe, thank you. If you already hit a like, thank you. But yeah, we talked Bill, we talked Hillary. I just wanted to go live for a little while today. I was only supposed to do like 30-40 minutes, but I've been live for almost an hour and 10. So yeah, you guys, copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Have a great day, everyone. Be blessed. Most likely I won't go live again. We did talk briefly about Savannah and Annie and Toto showed up at Nancy's house. Nancy's still missing. Praying for Nancy to have a safe recovery home. At this point, there's not a lot of people talking about it as much. The reporters have been removed from parking in front of the home, near the home, by the home, and in the neighborhood. So there's News Nation that's out there on a daily basis. News Nation was able to catch that the Savannah, that the Guthries was out there for a very short time. They weren't there no longer than 5 minutes. It was a very short time, and then they got back into their vehicle and left. So, well wishes to the Guthrie. So, I just wanted to update you guys on what topics we talked about. We talked Bill, Hillary, the Guthries, Ray J, and I think that was pretty much it today. Yeah, but thanks for being here, everyone. Have a great day. Goodbye. Be blessed.